Kia ora. More cloud around the western coast as we head through the rest of Friday afternoon. Some clearer skies out east, especially across the North Island, and at pretty warm temperatures as well, even down through those southern parts of the South Island. We'll find our daytime temperatures reaching highs of 16 or 17 degrees Celsius. A fine looking story there. But you can see it is going to be turning cloudier through the afternoon. That wet weather running up towards those southern parts of Southland, but with a heavier rainfall feeding in towards Fiordland. There are some severe weather watches and warnings in place for Fiordland as we head through Friday evening and on in towards Saturday morning. Now, overnight tonight, you see on the North Island plenty of dry weather, still areas of cloud feeding back towards us. We might find some mist and murk reforming through parts of Waikato, places like Tamaranui as well. And I think we'll keep more cloud through the Manawatu and across towards Wellington compared to, say, the eastern coast for Wairarapa up towards Hawke's Bay and even in towards Auckland. Not a bad looking story for you, staying dry and clear. Down south, there is more activity, that wet weather feeding in towards Southland. A bit of a cloudy start to the day tomorrow for you, and some showers and spells of rain on that western coast as well. In terms of our temperatures overnight, lows back to around about 2 or 3 degrees Celsius through places like Canterbury for Christchurch and Timaru. Up on the North Island, some of those cold spots still through the regions of like Central Plateau for Taupo and those inland parts of Waikato as well. Perhaps cold enough for a touch of frost, even out towards the likes of Wairarapa and up in towards the Hawke's Bay. Temperatures back down to 2 or 3 degrees Celsius. So a bit of a chilly morning where you get those clear skies sticking with us. On in towards the weekend, well, you can see high pressure still stays with us across the top of the North Island. Generally a dry story for many of us through there. There is more cloud down south, and we are going to find some wet weather continuing through Saturday through Fjord, and those heavy rain watches and winds through and towards Saturday morning or even Saturday night time for those far southern areas where that watch sits. There will also be some patchy rain through Southland, but some clearer skies, although still with areas of cloud through parts of Canterbury and Marlborough. But I think we are going to find the wetter weather is on that far southwestern coast, and that area of low pressure waiting to come towards us in time for Sunday. For the North Island, you can see the best of the clear sky will be around those eastern areas. There will be pockets of mist and fog in some of those river valleys of Waikato and that central plateau area. That should clear as we head through the daytime with some brightness and some sunshine. For many of us, it should be a dry day. There'll just be a little bit more cloud that starts to feed in towards the likes of Manawatu and in towards the Kapiti coast. Down on the temperatures in terms of the temperatures for the North Island, again, we'll find it's a cold start today through places like Taupo, but highs of around about 12 degrees Celsius for you. In the best of the sunshine, highs of 17 in Napier and Gisborne. Down towards Wellington, 14 is your top temperature for the daytime, and up in Auckland, highs of around about 15 degrees Celsius and overnight lows of 7. Down onto the South Island, you have that east-west split. There will be areas of cloud to watch out for. You can see those patches of cloud even through Canterbury. More so the further south you go, with some patchy rain as well through parts of Otago and Southland. The heaviest rainfall though through Fiordland. Remember, we have got those severe weather watches and warnings in place. And you can see some showers across the likes of, say, Westland as well. Generally drier, clearer and brighter up on this eastern side. In terms of our temperatures as well, it's not looking bad through there either. But it is that wet weather that we're keeping a close eye on down in the far south and west. We have got that watch that runs all the way from this evening for Friday evening and right the way through in towards Saturday night and across those far southern parts of Fiordland. The heaviest rainfall, 120 to 160 millimetres of rainfall around those central areas. And your warning runs through to around about 1 p.m. on Saturday. In terms of our temperatures though, we have still got some pretty high ones across the eastern side of the South Island. Highs back to around about 17 degrees Celsius once again through parts of Canterbury and even up in towards Marlborough. A fine looking story for you. There is more cloud down south, and I think we are going to find our temperatures a few degrees cooler than we've been having over the last few days for places like Dunedin and Invercargill, but 15 degrees Celsius for this time of year. Still relatively mild indeed. That will change though as we head in towards next week. Once we head in towards Sunday, we'll find more unsettled weather with that next area of low pressure runs in towards those more central parts of that western coast of the South Island. Still some showers and spells of rain across the far south as well. Not much makes its way in terms of moisture on towards the eastern side, but we'll keep that cloud running up the South Island. And you can see a bit more cloud across the North Island with some showers across the higher parts of the Taranaki region and down in towards, say, the likes of the Taurua district. But I think we are going to find more cloud than anything else through Sunday, but for most of the North Island, staying just about dry. On in towards the start of next week, another area of low pressure runs towards us. Combine that with that cold air coming from the south, we may well find some snowfall across those higher parts of central Otago and those southern parts of Canterbury. Well worth keeping an eye on the forecast, especially if you're planning some of those longer journeys. Some of that wet weather feeds through towards the end of the day in towards parts of Otago as well. So things are looking much more unsettled for the start of next week. Plus, with that combination of that unsettled weather and those cold temperatures, it will be feeling much more wintry as we head in towards next week as well. And that's it from me. Kia pai te rā.